There's an old joke about economics exams that the questions never change, only the answers do. But at this point, even the questions are changing. Now, even the idea that global integration is good, even the idea that the economy is a positive-sum game where one country's benefits can also benefit another, all of that is a subject of heated debate and great challenge. I'm Larry Summers. I first came to Harvard as a graduate student just 50 years ago. Spent most of my time here as a professor of economics and for a time as the university's president. When I haven't been at Harvard, I've been in Washington, working in the Treasury and ultimately as Secretary of the Treasury with President Clinton, as the chief economist of the World Bank, and as President Obama's chief economic advisor. If there's been one theme that's run through all of that, it has been globalization.
I'm Robert Lawrence, and it's my pleasure to co-teach the course with Larry Summers. Before I came to Harvard, I worked at a think tank in Washington, the Brookings Institution, doing research on a lot of international topics, but especially those concerned with international trade. I then moved to the Kennedy School, and toward the end of the Clinton administration, I was invited and I served with Janet Yellen in the White House on the Council of Economic Advisors.
Here's why I'm really excited, and I hope you will be, about studying globalization in the fall of 2025. Shakespeare is wonderful, but it's not changing. Einstein's theories were fantastic, but they're not changing. The global economy, policies towards the global economy, they're changing every day. Changing every day because of dramatic political developments like President Trump's proposal to impose tariffs on every other country. Changing because of the incredible transformations that are underway in China and other developing countries. And changing because technologies are making possible things that would have been unimaginable even 5 or 10 years ago in terms of artificial intelligence.
What we do in the course is to allow you to learn about a wide variety of perspectives on the question of globalization. We start by looking at history. Globalization has been with us, and the pressures from globalization have changed people's lives ever since man first walked on the earth. And we will examine the history in the first few classes in order to draw conclusions about what the implications are of different approaches and different forms of governance for globalization. When has it worked well? And who's won and who's lost in the process? We then look in greater detail at international trade, and we explore both the trading system, the arguments pro and con free trade, and what are the implications of tariffs and tariff wars. We also look at questions of international public goods, such as public health and climate change. We consider economic development, what globalization has meant for the poorer parts of the world, and we look at migration. We then turn to international finance, and we study international financial crises. And finally, we explore the current tensions that exist between the US and China in their relationship, the rise of populism within countries, and what the current crises mean for the future of globalization.
What Robert and I believe is that people are entitled to their own opinions and they're entitled to their own values, but they're not entitled to their own facts. And it ought to be possible to come together on better understandings of how the system works. So you'll learn about facts. You'll learn even more about ways of inquiring, and you'll also learn about ways of implementing policies to deal with all the changes that are coming in the global system.
And our purpose is not to convince you that our views are the right ones, but rather to equip you to make up your own mind about what globalization means for economic policy, and, in fact, to challenge you to think about how we can all, by working together, make the world a better place.